Okay, hello, professor and class. This is Andrew Coleman doing my interview here. Well, just take your time with it. We're gonna go through a couple questions and let's see what we gonna get. What we gonna get? Okay, so for everybody, for the professor, for the class, can you please introduce yourself and where you live, please?
Hello, everyone. My name is Brittany Pittman, and I live in Calumet City, Illinois, which is in the suburbs of Chicago.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for joining me, Miss Pittman.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So, let me talk to you for a minute. So, what do you think about climate change? Like, what changes have you seen in climate? You being here in Chicago, well, basically Chicago. What climate changes have you seen over the years? I mean, I know they call it the Windy City, so I'm pretty sure that a lot of reasons because of it's cold or whatever. But what have you noticed have changed from your perspective?
Well, for example, I noticed with winter, like the first thing that pops in people's minds are like snow on the ground, a lot of rain, sleet, and hail. But I noticed lately, like with the winters, it hasn't really snowed as much as it used to. Like it used to be like a whole bunch of snow on the ground, like at least 6 inches or more. But I noticed now, even though snow like here and there, it wouldn't be like heavy blizzards or anything. It'll probably be little flurries in the sky, and it won't stick to the ground. And I noticed like with the winter as well, it's like they've been warmer like than usual. Like instead of being like, for example, like let's say to the 30s, like down to the negatives, now it's like 60 degrees or sometimes 70 or 80 degrees.
Okay.
It's like it's gotten a lot more warmer over the past few years.
Okay, cool. Now, have you noticed anything about any animals, insects, or anything of that nature?
Well, a few years ago when my grandma used to live next door, sorry.
That's okay.
I always noticed that it used to always be a bunny outside every time I go out to take the trash. But it's like, now you look around, it's like, where are the bunnies? There's no bunnies like around anymore. And same thing with the pigeons. Like, people have told me they are still around, but it's like I don't really see any. Like when I go outside to like, same thing when I said like with the bunnies, like some days while I go outside I take the trash out for my grandma. Sometimes it used to be a whole bunch of pigeons in front of the apartment, and I noticed like every morning at the crack of dawn, it will always be like a pigeon like sit at the air conditioner, like literally on top of the air conditioner. Like they would be everywhere, but it's like now you rarely hear of them. It's kind of like just
non-existent,
vanish on the face of the earth or something.
Okay, I got that. Okay, yeah, because I noticed that a lot too. I noticed a lot of things are not around no more. Just like bees and lightning bugs. You remember, people used to collect lightning bugs back in the day in the jars and make light. Now all that stuff gone. I mean, like it's getting crazy. So now, as far as like your community, your neighborhood, your city, whatever you prefer, how you think it's gonna be, like the future is gonna be with these climate changes that you described?
For starters, I want to start off like with the plants. Like say for example, like with it being like less rain. Like plants need the water and the rain to grow. Without the rain, like I guess coming down or whatnot, how there wouldn't be any trees, there wouldn't be any shrubs, like the grass wouldn't be able to grow or anything like that. And another thing as well, like say with all these animals going missing, like say with the cows, like if there's no cows around, like how are we gonna be able to eat meat? Like how we're gonna have food in order to survive? Like what are we going to survive on?
Good point, because I know I love me a good cheeseburger. And if there's no more animals, how I'm gonna get my burger?
Yes, like we're not gonna have anything to survive off on.
Well, I totally feel you on that. I mean, man, it's kind of scary when you think about it, man. Speaking of scary, I know I'm scared for the future, but well, in reference to climate change, I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, are you frustrated, mad, worried, fearful? I mean, because a lot of things you describing seems kind of like eh, I'm kind of scared. So I mean, that's just me. But what about you? What you think?
Well, I'm a mixture of two emotions. Like, part of me is happy because I'm not too much of a fan of, like, it being cold outside, in the winter.
Yeah.
I'd rather, just like go out and, breathe in the fresh air and the sun beaming down on me. Like, I like that type of thing. But it's like, in the same sense, like, you can't help, like, to question the back of your mind, like, okay, what's causing, all of this to happen?
Right.
It's like, it's just a big question mark, like, above my head with that. But, honestly, who wouldn't be afraid of the unknown? I know it's a lot of people who's afraid of the unknown because in the future, you never know what to expect.
Yeah. The future is very unknown, as you said.
Yeah. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. So, to wrap things up, I mean, I just want to ask you one last question. So, what kind of, in terms of, like, interaction, I mean, relationships between humans, animals, or humans and plants, or natural world, whatever you think, how do you think that's gonna shape out in your perspective? I mean, do you think I know we to me, like, we all need each other, we all depend on each other for something. So I mean, if there's no animals, like you said, how we gonna eat?
Yeah.
Or how you gonna prosper?
And another thing I wanted to mention as well, I'm glad you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if I said this already, but with the bees, with them carrying honey, and they also, like, you ever seen like a bee like land on top of the plants and, like, they produce pollen, into the plants. Without the bees around, a lot of these things wouldn't exist. It's like, in a way, the bees kind of help shape the world. Without the bees, how these plants are going to survive, like with the food, the food will almost be non-existent. We wouldn't have anything to survive on. So it's like, the world would just be black and white.
But non-existent. Yeah. Everything, if we are on one hand, right the other. So the animals depend on us, we depend on the animals. And
it's like we help each other out in a sense.
We help each other out. Well, you know what, Miss Pittman, this has been a great interview. I'm glad I got a little feedback. I mean, I see similar similarities, how I feel versus how you feel, and I appreciate your time and effort in climate change.
I appreciate you for having me.
All right. Well, you have a great day, ma'am.
You as well.
All right. Take care.
Bye.